Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And before I start the review, I want to thank some of you out there who wished me a happy birthday yesterday, left birthday comments on my vlog video. So thank you all for wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciated them. Thank you all for writing the birthday comments for me. So like I said, thank you very much for those. And today's movie that I'm going to review is The Mask of Zorro. And it stars Antonio Banderas, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Anthony Hopkins, Stuart Wilson, and Matt Letscher. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But this movie is a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's based on the Zorro character created by Johnson Macaulay. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And Zorro was in like books and TV shows. They did like a Disney show back in like the 50s, based on Zorro, who was played by, I think his name was Campbell. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But like I said, this is a good movie. It's directed by Martin Campbell, and he directed this movie. He directed also the sequel, The Legend of Zorro, which I haven't seen, and he also directed that shitty Green Lantern movie. But this movie's about, in the beginning of the movie, it takes place in 1821. And Don Diego de la Vega, who is played by Anthony Hopkins, and he fights against Spain in the Mexican War of Independence, and he fights as Zorro. He was the original Zorro, and he fights this cruel governor, Don Rafael Montero, who is played by Stuart Wilson. And one night he arrests, Don Rafael arrests Anthony Hopkins in his home, and he lives with his wife Esperanza and his infant daughter Alina. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And his wife, Esperanza, is accidentally killed by one of Don Rafael's soldiers, and Don Rafael takes Don de la Vega's, Anthony Hopkins' character's daughter, Alina, and leaves for Spain. And then we go 20 years later, and Don Rafael returns from Spain with, Anthony Hopkins' character's daughter, Elena, who is now played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is beautiful in this movie. Absolutely beautiful. And he is planning to turn California into an independent republic, and also Anthony Hopkins escapes from prison, and he wants to get revenge on Don Rafael. And while Anthony Hopkins escapes, he encounters a thief, Alejandro Murrieta, who is played by Antonio Banderas, who he and his brother, really loved Zorro as kids. And Anthony Hopkins, Don de la Vega, takes Alejandro, Antonio Banderas, and he makes him his protege, whatever you call it, and he trains him, and Alejandro becomes the new Zorro, because Anthony Hopkins, after he fight against Spain, that Mexican War of Independence, he retired as Zorro. And now later on, 20 years later, Anthony Hopkins becomes the new Zorro, and he wants to get revenge on Captain Harrison Love, who is played by Matt Letscher, who killed his brother, and he is also Don Rafael's right-hand man. And you got that's basically the whole, plot to the movie, the story. And also you got the, love connection between Alejandro and Elena, who was played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. this was a really good movie, really enjoyable movie. Um, the acting was great. The story was really great. It had a lot of action. It had a lot of comedy, some comedy in the movie, which I really liked. Um, just everything was good about this movie, and they made, like I said, they made a sequel, The Legend of Zorro, which I've heard mixed things about, but I might check it out. This movie was a success when it came out at at the box office. It made $250 million at the box office on a $96 million budget, so that's really good. And it got a lot of hype when like some hype when this movie came out. From what I remember, and now it's, in my opinion, it's underrated though. This is definitely an underrated movie. But I say I would recommend Mask of Zorro. Like I said, it's a really good movie. Antonio Banderas was great. Also, Anthony Hopkins was really good too. Also, Catherine Zeta-Jones, like I said, beautiful in this movie, and she's really good. And just check out this movie; it's really, really good. So anyways, that's it for my review of The Mask of Zorro. Thank you all for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you all later.